Hi, everybody. Welcome to my Bible reading channel. I'm in my car today as I am taking my California King comforter to the laundromat, and I have to wash it in one of the commercial washers. So it takes 25 minutes to wash. So what do you do in 25 minutes? Well, you could scroll on Facebook, TikTok, fool around on YouTube, or you could read God's Word. And I'm sure that you're on YouTube right now watching this video, so I'm sure you're scrolling around through YouTube. But anyhow, please join me. We're back in 2 Samuel 2, 1 through 7. April 20th, David anointed king of Judah. So after this, David asked the Lord, should I move back to one of the towns of Judah? Yes, the Lord replied. Then David asked, well, which town should I go to? To Hebron, the Lord answered. David's two wives were Ahinoam from Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. So David and his wives and his men and their families all moved to Judah, and they settled in the villages near Hebron. Then the men of Judah came to David and anointed him king over the people of Judah. When David heard that the men of Jabesh Gilead had buried Saul, he sent them this message: May the Lord bless you for being so loyal to your master Saul and giving him a decent burial. May the Lord be loyal to you in return and reward you with his unfailing love. And I too will reward you for what you have done. Now that Saul is dead, I ask you to be my strong and loyal subjects like the people of Judah who have anointed me as their new king. 2 Samuel 2, 8 through 11. Ishbosheth proclaimed king of Israel. But Abner, son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, had already gone to Mahanaim with Saul's son Ishbosheth. There he proclaimed Ishbosheth king over Gilead, Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, and the land of the Esherites, and all the rest of Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he became king, and he ruled from Mahanaim for 2 years. Meanwhile, the people of Judah remained loyal to David. David made Hebron his capital, and he ruled as king of Judah for 7.5 years. 2 Samuel 2, 12 through 17. War between Israel and Judah. One day, Abner led Ishbosheth's troops from Mahanaim to Gibeon. About the same time, Joab, son of Zezreel, led David's troops out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. The two groups sat down facing each other from opposite sides of the pool. Then Abner suggested to Joab, let's have a few of our warriors fight hand to hand in front of us. All right, Joab agreed. So 12 men were chosen to fight from each side. 12 men of Benjamin representing Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 representing David. Each one grabbed his opponent by the hair and thrust his sword into the other side so that all of them died. Gosh, it sounds so brutal. So this place at Gibeon has been known ever since as the Field of Swords. I notice I got dog hair on my shirt as I took my dirty comforter to the laundromat with dog hair on it. Okay, sorry, that was a distraction because I could see myself. So they grabbed their opponents by the hair and thrust the sword so that all of them died. That's just crazy. So this place at Gibeon has been known as the Field of Swords. A fierce battle followed that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated. Oh, no you don't, iPad. My iPad is resting on my steering wheel. Sorry. It's never a dull moment with me. It is never a dull moment. There's always something. God. Okay. A fierce battle followed that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by the forces of David. 2 Samuel 2:18, 3-1. The death of Ashiel. Joab, Ashaiah, and Ashiel, the three sons of Zeruiah, were among David's forces that day. Ashiel could run like a gazelle, and he began chasing Abner. He pursued him relentlessly, not stopping for anything. When Abner looked back and saw him coming, he called out, "Is that you, Ashiel?" "Yes, it is," he replied. "Go fight someone else," Abner warned. "Take one of your younger men and strip him of his weapons." But Ashiel kept chasing Abner. Again, Abner shouted to him, "Get away from here. I don't want to kill you. How could I ever face your brother Joab again?" But Ashiel refused to turn back. So Abner thrust the butt end of his spear through Ashiel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. Oh, God. He stumbled to the ground and died there, and everyone who came by that spot stopped and stood still when they saw Ashiel laying there. When Joab and Abishai found out what had happened, they set out after Abner. The sun was just going down as they arrived at the hill of Amak, near Giah, along the road to the wilderness of Gibeon. Abner's troops from the tribe of Benjamin regrouped there at the top of the hill to take a stand. Abner shouted down to Joab, "Must we always be killing each other? Don't you realize that bitterness is the only result? When will you call off your men from chasing their Israelite brothers?" Then Joab said, "God only knows what would have happened if you hadn't spoken, for we would have chased you all night if necessary." So Joab blew the ram's horn, and the men stopped chasing the troops of Israel. All that night, Abner and his men retreated through the Jordan Valley, and they crossed the Jordan River, traveling all through the morning, and didn't stop until they arrived at Mahanaim. Meanwhile, Joab and his men also returned home. When Joab counted his casualties, he discovered that only 19 men were missing in addition to Ashiel. But 360 of Abner's men had been killed, all from the tribe of Benjamin. Joab and his men took Ashiel's body to Bethlehem and buried him there in his father's tomb. Then they traveled all night and reached Hebron at daybreak. That was the beginning of a long war between those who were loyal to Saul and those loyal to David. As time passed, David became stronger and stronger, while Saul's dynasty became weaker and weaker. David's son born in Hebron, 2 Samuel 3, 2-5. These are the sons that were born to David in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Abinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith, and the fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abtiel. The sixth was Ephraim, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These sons were all born to David in Hebron. 1 Chronicles 3, 1-4. These are the sons of David who were born in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was David, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third one was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonai, whose mother was Haggith. And the fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abtiel. The sixth was Ashriam, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned 7.5 years. 2 Samuel 23, 8-17. David's mightiest men. These are the names of David's mightiest warriors. The first was Jashobeam, the Hakemite, who was the leader of the 3, and the 3 mightiest warriors among David's men. He once used his spear to kill 800 enemy warriors in a single battle. Wow. Next in rank among the 3 was Eleazar, son of Dodai, a descendant of Ohiah. Once Eleazar and David stood together against the Philistines when the entire Israelite army had fled. He killed the Philistines until his hand was too tired to lift his sword, and the Lord gave him a great victory that day. The rest of the army did not return until it was time to collect the plunder. Next in rank was Shema, son of Agi from Harar. Harar. One time the Philistines gathered at Lehi and attacked the Israelites in a field full of lentils. The Israelite army fled, but Shema held his ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. Once during the harvest, when David was at the cave at Adullam, the Philistine army was camped in the valley of Rephaim. The 3 who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men, went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem. David remarked longingly to his men, "Oh, how I would love some of that." I can't turn the page. Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem. So the 3 broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. But he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord. "The Lord forbid that I should drink this," he exclaimed. "This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me." So David did not drink it. These are examples of the exploits of the 3. 1 Chronicles 11:10 through 19. These are the leaders of David's mighty warriors. Together with all of Israel, they decided to make David their king, just as the Lord had promised concerning Israel. Here is the record of David's mightiest warriors. The first was Jeshobeam, the Hakemite, who was the leader of the 3, the mightiest warriors among David's men. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. Next in rank among the 3 was Eleazar, son of Dodai, a descendant of Ahoah. He was with David when the Philistines gathered for battle at Pasdammon and attacked the Israelites in a field full of barley. The Israelite army fled, but Eleazar and David held their ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord saved them by giving them a great victory. See, when God's on your side, He'll protect you. Once when David was at the rock near the cave of Adullam, the Philistine army was camped in the valley of Rephaim. The 3 who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men, went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem. David remarked longingly to his men, "Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem." So the 3 broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. But David refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord. "God forbid that I should drink this," he exclaimed. "This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me." So David did not drink it. And these are their examples of the 3. For those of you that don't know, I'm reading the 1-year chronological Bible. So there's certain scriptures that repeat itself. It's not me repeating. It's I'm just reading. 2 Samuel 23:18 through 39. David's 30 mighty men. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, was the leader of the 30. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. It was by such feats that he became as famous as the 3. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the 3. There was also Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Gebazeel. He did many heroic deeds, which include killing 2 champions of Moab. Another time, on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Once, armed only with a club, he killed an imposing Egyptian warrior who was armed with a spear. Benaiah wrecked the spear from the Egyptian's hands and killed him with it. He basically grabbed the spear out of their hands and just killed them. That means my laundry is done. But I'm not done reading to you. So I hope and pray somebody doesn't take my comforter. But where I'm living is a really nice place. So I'm going to trust that God will protect me. Okay. There was also Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which include killing 2 champions of Moab, another time on a snowy day. I already read that part. You know what? I'm going to do part 2. And I will go put my comforter in the dryer.